Hello, friends. Welcome to a Wednesday evening stream. Hopefully, everybody's doing well here. Bonnie Gilbert, you were first today. Charlie's doing great. Charlie's going to be a service dog starting tomorrow. My daughter-in-law she's feeling a little depressed, so I'm lending Charlie to her for a while. I lived with them for a while, and so they know Charlie very well. Let's see. Kill him dead. We're going to talk about the election just briefly. I need the beach. Iron. Hello, Iron. CK. Emergency alerts. Getting so old and draining. Hello, Matt B. That's all right. That's how the next presidential will go as well, if everything stays the way it is right now. Yep. Michael B. North Shore Bob. I'm sorry. North Shore Rob. CK. Richard Hennessy. Oh, and it just jumped on me. Mark Harris. Jason Frew. Rolos. Zenanian 777, hello. Jason Frew, Hipster Kirk. Jumped on me again. I'm going to miss some guys. I'm sorry. Marky, High Vibes. Sticks, hello, Sticks. I know I'm missing some. I'm sorry. It says we only have 35 people combined on the both channels, so I don't know why it's skipping so fast. You people are just, hello, Trey. You're typing like crazy. Big Rolio, hello. Marty 80, I'm doing fine. Thank you. Just came from walking Charlie, so no time to change or do anything really. I was late taking him. That was my fault. I just got lazy. I was like, another 5 minutes. I want to thank, hello, David. I want to thank David Clark. He's the one that volunteered to give me the Prius. But I already have a used car. But it shows you the difference between people on the give side and people on the take side as far as I think most chats that you go into, let's say mainstream stuff, non-flat earthers, non-Christians, whatever, you're not going to get too many people willing to donate their car to you. So thank you once again, David Clark. And thank you for the donation. I just got a notification on that. So thank you so much. I will write you here shortly regarding that. Well, let's get the main 10-second subject out of our heads, and that is the recall election in California. I liken it to, let's say you're driving down the road and you get a blowout on your tire, and you pull over and you just sit there, and your wife's looking at you, and you're sitting there. And she's like, aren't you going to fix the tire? And you're like, no, I figured it'll fix itself. So that's what I take it out to. It's the exact same thing. If you don't fix 2020, this is what you're going to have all over the place. And it's why I will not be voting again. Absolutely not. If you don't fix 2020, this person doesn't vote. I won't participate in the insanity. Might not vote anyway. I'm against the system. What's happening? What's so much shit happening there, North Shore Rob? Give me something. I've been so busy today, I haven't seen a thing. And whoever said drop the weights in the protein shake and come on, this is natural, guys. I don't lift weights. This is like good genetics. I don't even, all I do is I'll eat a little bit of protein now and then, like everybody does. Yep, David, 100%. Voting it's done. It's what do you expect? And I saw one of these random tweets that comes on. I have no idea why I get some random tweets. And it's not the one that's anyway, I don't know what happened to it, but it said the reason why Gavin Newsom won is because Republicans don't go out and vote. Well, pardon me, but to that. That's Republicans don't demand that the system gets fixed before you vote again. Even Mark Dice, He did a video recently called It's Happening. And he interviewed people. Now, of course, he can edit out who he wants. But he usually gets a bunch of crud in California, people that don't even know what country they live in. And but anyway, he was hitting Democrats and Republicans, and they were all saying, we're going to vote him out. And you saw what the results were. 60-some% to 30-some%. He won more on the recall than he did for office, probably, originally. You were at CVS today, and some girl got the vax. They made you wait 15 minutes after the shot. It's the first sign it's not good for you. Unless the CDC says it's okay. That's right. Even before, people knew me when I was fat. That's right. That's right. It wasn't rigged. You knew you were in trouble when they said, just go ahead and get this PDF here and print your own ballot and send it in. Send in 20 if you want. It's your, why not go down to the nearest, what are they called? These little printer stores or these Office Depot. Go to Office Depot and say, make me 500 copies of this. And you already have the circle dotted in like they did here in Arizona and everything. Arizona, I think, may come Friday. Just a hunch. But I think it may come Friday. Now, a little bit first. Oh, I'm going to tell you this before I forget. When I was walking Charlie at the park, they were obviously having a wake for somebody. They had a whole bunch of people around. They had candles burning. It was quite the scene. And and they had music on, and even I was getting emotional. And I don't even know the guy or girl that died. But it reminded me that of what is it, 1 Corinthians 15:25 or 26, where it says, the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. Remember that death is an enemy to God. So if death is going on, is God doing it? Death is an enemy to God. Plain and simple. Pugsley Lovejoy has been, as you know, he comes up with a lot of different stuff. And this one is pretty cool. As you know, the satellites, they say, are orbiting at 17,000 miles per hour. And those are the ones that need the heat shield because they're going so fast, Rich. Let me read you what he sent me. They say the satellites orbit at 340 miles altitude and are released from the rocket 15 minutes after launch. That is an average speed of 22 miles per minute or 1,360 miles per hour. 1,360 miles per hour, not 17,000 miles per hour. And then we're going to look at some video that I have not even seen together. At 23:10 in the video, there is mylar film flapping gently in the wind at a supposed 18,405 kilometers per hour, or 11,436 miles per hour, or Mach 14.9. Why is there a gentle fan breeze blowing on some mylar film at 15 times the speed of sound, and how is there air in space at 106 miles? They claim this rocket is moving at 15 times the speed of sound, but with no air to push against and not pointing straight. How is it gaining altitude? In order to both gain altitude and simultaneously move in Earth orbit direction, the rocket would have to both maintain a 45-degree angle relative to the ground at all times and have dense air to push against. But the Fashion 9, is that what it's called? Or is it Fusion 9? I don't know. Fashion 9 has neither. A 90-degree turning arc cannot increase altitude. At 45 degrees, the rocket could contain enough fuel to go the distance, and at 90 degrees horizontal, could never go any higher than a few thousand feet. Then he says at 3:10 in the video, we're going to look at this video in a minute, there's what appears to be a 30-mile wide hotspot from the ocean from the sun on the ocean. At 8:30, watch the bottom stage magically appear on the floating platform. The satellites are supposedly released at T plus 1 minute 14 seconds, which is long after max altitude of 340 miles. There is supposedly no air to push off of that altitude to accelerate any faster than the speed that was reached at 340 miles. If early on, say 7,000 feet altitude, the rocket goes from pointing straight up to fall over 90 degrees completely horizontal, how could it possibly go any higher? With the rocket not attached to an Earth that is moving at 66,600 miles per hour in solar orbit, how can the rocket conserve that same momentum while flying in a curved path which is constantly changing direction relative to solar orbits? And he quotes here, he shows, I'll have to click on it to enlarge it. After reaching, this is from SpaceX or whatever, or NASA. After reaching an on-target orbit, the Falcon 9's upper stage released the stack of 51 flat panel satellites about 15 minutes into the mission. The deployment occurred over the remote Pacific Ocean outside the range of ground station coverage, I bet. It was probably high enough, though. It could have reflected the sun back down like it always does. And again, he says they released them at 15 minutes after launch. And at that speed, it's nowhere near 17,000 miles per hour. So how does it actually get up to that speed? It's more like between 1,000 and 2,000 miles per hour at the most. Then he quotes a physics classroom website. It's physicsclassroom.com, literally. Where it says, an object ongoing uniform circular motion is moving with a constant speed. Nevertheless, it is accelerating due to its change in direction. And what does that have to do with anything? It has to do with this stupid bullcrap conservation of momentum they always want to use. Conservation of momentum doesn't work in curved trajectories, only straight line paths. A curved trajectory results in exponential loss of momentum and resulting g-forces, even on an object that moves at a constant speed. Rounding a curve at constant speed means you are accelerating toward the center of the circle. Even though your speed is constant, your velocity vector is changing, so your acceleration is non-zero. From Physics 140, University of San Diego. An object undergoing uniform circular motion is moving with a constant speed. Nevertheless, it is acceleration due to its change in directions. So this conservation of momentum bullcrap is just that. It doesn't feel any changes or whatever. They always use the example, if you're in a car and you're moving at a uniform speed and you throw a ball from the back seat to the front seat, it's all negated out by the conservation of momentum. The object being thrown doesn't feel any changes in the direction of the car or whatever. That's bullcrap. What if you're on an aircraft and you hit sudden turbulence? I've been on aircraft where the turbulence was so bad that not only were people's heads hitting the TVs above them, but things were flying up to the ceiling just from the heavy turbulence. There was no conservation of momentum of everything inside. Sorry. All right, so let's go look at the Starlink, see what we got. I have not seen this, so this will be the first time for me too. There it is, SpaceX. Oh, did you know the thing that was going to be sending more billionaires into space this week or whatever, it got delayed? What a surprise. So let me find the timestamps again. Let's go to this 30-mile wide hotspot on the Earth first. That's 3 minutes, 10 seconds. So that's 10 seconds after this. Let me come back and see what you guys are seeing. You make it larger for you. And one more time larger. There we go. Let's take a look together. No sound. Should be no sound in space anyway, right? Unless you're on the moon and you're throwing a hammer. That's the exception. Well, this is 310. Oh, T plus 310. Oh, so I got to look at the. Oh, look at the animation we get. Look at this crap. Ooh, doggies. Jed Clampett used to say. That's T plus 13. So let's go. Oh, I don't like this T plus stuff. Oh, there's the foil again. That's just probably stock footage by now. How many times do you have to animate it? It just missed it. Okay. Hey, that looks like the space shuttle just blew up, doesn't it? Oh, look at the little graphic turning here. Liftoff, Max Q, Mecho. It says fairing, but I think it really means farting. Altitude, 60 kilometers. We can still see a big part of it. Miko cut off. $29 GoPro camera on the right. What the hell was that? Sorry, pardon me. Watch on the right side. It's like these streamers come out. Unless I just saw it wrong. Hold on. Watch for it. What the? Look, do you see that flying off? And what is this? There's supposed to be no air there. You know, we got to compare this to the other things just to see if we get the same cloud formations. Uh-oh, convex Earth is right. Yeah, there's the 30-mile wide sun. Look at this. So freaking garbage. This on the left, this is the rocket that knows how to come down backwards. And, you know, things are only aerodynamic one direction. Unless it's this. Then it's aerodynamic in two directions. It doesn't tumble. It doesn't roll. What was that? Something else dropped. Look at all this crap dropping off. Uh-oh. Thought I saw a mouse over here. What is it? It's condensation. It looks like water. It's definitely liquid. Definitely looks like liquid anyway. Oh, what's this right here? Why do we keep switching? How come all those clouds dissipated in just a few? Yeah, there's the mouse again. This is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Thanks, Mike. Duke's 33. I used the same one I used yesterday, which is, I will drop it here and just put information in the title. I literally get like a half a dozen junk emails, probably between me announcing this and you doing this. And I will get another email address that doesn't do that. The last one I got, unfortunately, I used There it is, rhopkins214@gmail.com. You got it, Rich Flat. The foil is a nice touch. Look at this. What is this? Oh, did you see that? I got to stop it and go back a little bit. Well, we'll stop looking at this garbage anyway because we all know it's garbage. But isn't it amazing? It's so amazing. The other side believes every moment of that we're watching here. Some kind of liquid comes out here. On the right. There was the mouse. There, what was that? It comes down here. So that was 21.25. So let's say 21.23, 21.21. Do you see that? It doesn't go in a straight line either. It's curved, which tells me there's an atmosphere there or wind. This is just bull crap. Let's just stop it. Stop with the bull crap. It's right there because it looks so fat. It has fake. It has to be real. I swear, Bugs Bunny commercials are. Duke's 33. Is this something that that I should be reading on here? If so, I'll check the email right now. The racket looks like it's up against the green screen. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's not just the sad part is that people believe it. That's the sad part. So anyway, I'm going to open my Gmail in case it's something I should be reading right now. And I don't have anything yet. So again, other people, I might want to be careful with this one. Okay, I'll read it and try to use some discernment. Just put all caps in there, Duke's 33 in the subject. That'll do it. Does anyone know Duke's 33 or is he a troll? He's been here before. I think. Hide current comment. Why is this sticking on my screen? If I just hid somebody, I'm sorry, but I had to get it off my screen. It's a 15-minute read. Okay. So it won't be tonight. Space has no properties. Space has no existence in my mind. Carbide, have I seen the SpaceX facility that was shaking up and down like a model on a table in front of real landscape? Nope, but I don't doubt it. Yeah, those clouds really changed fast. They weren't really moving at all. We go away from it for about 5-10 seconds, come back, and the clouds are totally different. Did you notice that? I want to see. I want to see one of the other SpaceX launches. Because I want to see if those clouds are the same. But anyway, Pugsley made a very good point. If it's only going 1,000 some miles per hour when they deploy these satellites, how is it accelerating then up to 17,000 miles per hour so it can be in orbit? It's impossible. Isn't it funny if you just think through some of these things and take off your biases, things really start to become clear. Just one where they get all the fake X-tards that work in the control room, time and a half for clapping and cheering. And they think it's real. No doubt, I have no doubt they think it's real. NASA said one of the moon launches, landings, whatever, Apollo things, I think it was the Apollo one, the guy that runs the show there, he said they went through a complete fake thing, and everybody there thought it was real. Nobody could tell it was fake. Only the people in the upper management knew it was fake. That's simple, country boy. They're not up there. They're not doing anything up there because they're not up there. They're down here collecting their checks. Your checks. My checks. You have a turbo boost button like in Knight Rider. It's all right. I didn't think about that. I forgot Knight Rider started that technology, so they should have it. So Walmart doesn't need to click. They know exactly who will be going along with the system and who will not. All through your computer, cell phone, things you buy, things you watch, etc. Oh, yeah. Never mind, says my brother sent the link to this launch as proof of a ball. Or see, you cannot see outside the box. You're so inside that it's like the impenetrable steel box that they cannot get out of. Very few escape it. Very few. And once you do, you literally do not go back. You see the light. Questioned, the people in control room can't tell if it's a real launch from a rehearsal or a drill launch. Yeah. It's like some people think, well, I keep using the example. I just have to because it's so stupid. People thought that Gilligan's Island castaways were really lost on an island. How they were televised and broadcast every week, God only knows. But they're writing to the military saying, please, we should have ships to be able to go out and try to find these people. Talk about the they knew then, oh yeah, our education system is working. Yep, Maven, that is the problem, and that is the big problem. People are so brainwashed, I know you're talking to somebody else, but they're so brainwashed to believe in the mainstream media. I don't care what they say, people are going to believe it. Even it's been proven. They lie, yeah, but it's not illegal for them to do so. Thank you, Jimmy Carter and Congress, and thank you, Donald Trump and Congress, for not fixing it. He comes in right off the bat, fake news. He's got Republicans in the House. He's got Republicans in the Senate. The American people, both sides, are for honesty in the media. It was a no-brainer. They didn't want to push it through. That's right, Jay. Remember back in the day when America had a First Amendment? That's gone. That's right, Bonnie. They had a lot of clothes for a 3-hour tour. And they were able to make all kind of interesting stuff, weren't they? Cooking utensils and crazy stuff like that. Marianne making her pies. Where did she get all the ingredients? Coconut cream pie. Yeah, you can see where you can get coconuts there. Where's the milk? Where's the sugar? Where's the bread for the crust? Yeah, Dukes. You can't drop the link. Only I can. And thanks, Big Rolio. I happen to get that because I'm looking. Send it to me, Dukes. If there's a link, I can then I can put it in the stream. You can blame the other side for that. The reason why there's no links allowed on my channel, because what the other side was doing was, the way they were trolling was, they were putting links in to things that were expressly banned on YouTube. I think child exposure and other such crazy stuff. So I had no choice but to show you that that's the character of the other side. Big Rolio, oh, it's on YouTube. Okay. I can share a YouTube link without getting too much into it. Let me see if I can log into my Gmail one here. That's easy. Log me in automatically. This is a doctor talking about certain subjects that's pertinent today. That if you haven't seen it, you should see it. I've seen parts of it. And here it is. And it's on YouTube. Let me make sure it's still on YouTube. Yeah, it pops up. It's only 4 minutes. It's Dr. Brooks talks to school board in Ohio. So that's the link I just dropped. Stick says Dukes 33 is legit. That's good enough. So if you send me that link, I will put it in there for everybody else, Dukes. How do you refresh Gmail? There it is. Nothing yet. Oh, let's make sure it's not. Wow, I didn't know this. There's a Hangouts, Mr. Thrive and Survive. Didn't even know it was there. 2 members, my son and Robin Poe. That's it. I haven't promoted it because I didn't even know it existed. Australia to build nuclear subs. Oh, I'm going to be doing, remember the video I did, guys, that a lot of people liked? I had no idea. Thank you, Dukes. I got your link. Let me just read it for a couple seconds here. Oh, okay. This is cool. I'm not going to say what it's about, but there's the link that Dukes has been trying to leave right there. Ta-da! It's right, Sticks, a very limited hangout. Me and 2 others. And I've never hung out there. So that's really limited. Man, have you heard Biden speaking lately? I mean, it's always bad, but he talks about one thing and then another subject, and then back. There was a video I saw. Let's see if it's still in my history. It was funny. I haven't watched too many videos today, so I should be able to find it. This is from Sky News Australia. I'm going to share this. I'll mute my microphone. It's a 52-second video. Everybody up for a good laugh? Hello, Twisted Clown. Alrighty, come on. Share screen. Share audio. Why I have to click that every time, I don't know. The title is, I'll write a check to anyone who can decipher what Biden's trying to convey. And this is one of his good parts. This isn't even really that bad. Let me make sure you guys see it. Let me mute myself, and here we go.
And just before we go, let's end the evening with a word from the leader of the free world. I'll personally write a check to anybody who can decipher what Joe Biden is trying to convey here.
Yeah, that, well, what do you want to do with Biden? I want to box him. I should be so lucky. But it is the kinds of things, or, stuff that is coming out of Florida, stuff that's coming out of, Robert E. Lee in Afghanistan. You'd have won. No, anyway.
Florida, Robert E. Lee. How is that man dressing himself, let alone leading the most powerful nation on earth?
Pretty cool, huh?
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, no. They snuck one in on me. White House abruptly cuts media feed as Biden goes off script during Idaho event. If he goes off script, that means you can't understand him. Country where you heard that CERN has opened up portals and doorways to God only knows where. They be careful conjuring and messing with supernatural world. No worries, though. God won't let it go too far. Jacob Law, hello. Yeah, I think we actually have the ability that if God wasn't in control, they could actually just totally destroy our dimension, or whatever you want to call it. Ezra says we are in a battle between good and evil, and we know this, how the story ends. We've got the scripture. God wins. Good wins. Good, God, same thing. I was thinking about that again, what Jughead said last time. And by the way, if you're listening, Jughead, I still haven't made the colloidal silver, but I definitely have to. I just used the last part of my bottle, which was like that much left, to put into my other little bottle. And I got to get bottles too to send to you. But anyway, definitely by this weekend, I have to make it, because I will run out, and I can't run out. It keeps me from getting infections. Carbide said you posted some good links to watch. Where, if I don't know if you have if you don't have the ability to put a link in, you can't hear. But anyway, remember how he was talking about? He reminded me about God said, "Let there be light," because I said everything is light. And God saw that it was good. Only God is good. Remember Jesus said? No one or nothing or whatever is good except for God. Anyway, I've been sort of expanding that out some. Which actually means everything is good. We don't see it, but it'll happen. I'm looking for the links, Carbide. Oh yeah, I see him up there. Fake car in space. We looked at that several times. The problem is, Carbide, I have to load. I'm using a third-party software to do these streams, and I can't click on your link or even copy it. I have to actually go and open one like you are seeing, find it in the chat, and then copy and paste it. It's weird. Transhumanism, country boy. I think transhumanism is all about living forever. All they have to do is believe in the living God. Whoever calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Gotcha, Carbide. Thank you. But that's the atheist way to shortcut everything. CERN is one that's getting out of this dimension because they know, the elite know, there is a dome that they can't get out of. They tried to blast through it in the 50s and 60s. The Russians and the United States both did with the high altitude explosions. So CERN is another way to try to get out of the portal, get to heaven, so to speak. Leo says, I want Biden to write out the rest of his term, so the lefties just want to crawl in a hole and die by CDC guidelines, of course. Of course, Leo. Again, that goes back to sort of hoping the system fixes itself. There was nobody worse in my lifetime on the Democrat side, I don't think, than Jimmy Carter. He was total ineptitude in the White House. He could speak. He knew what day it was. He knew where he was living. And he was coherent, but his thoughts weren't smart. And his policies were stupid. And his decisions were bad. And we had malaise. And we had stagflation, which, by the way, is what we're getting ready to go through again, stagflation. Stagflation is where the economy is stagnant. It doesn't grow. You don't all of a sudden create new jobs anymore. It can even shrink. But you still have inflation. And that's a bad combination because you have people getting less money, but everything's getting more expensive. And anyway, it didn't take long, really. And you had, well, I guess it did because you had the extreme opposite of that. You had someone very coherent, very sparkful to the American psyche, which was Ronald Reagan. He took us out of the doldrums, like him or hate him, for his policies. He was the person who preached the city on the city on the hill. We're the bright spot in the world. It's up to us to lead the world, to shine, to excel. He was the exact opposite of Jimmy Carter. And all you had was, after Reagan, you had 4 years of the nut, worse than nut, of one of Satan's imps on earth, George H.W. Bush. He was in for 4 years. Then you went to Jimmy Carter for 2 terms. It just never, the people never learn the lesson. And then you had George H.W. Bush. People don't learn the system. And it doesn't matter because they're selected anyway. We know that. The Ron Pauls of the world, the ones that would really maybe make a difference after Reagan, they were like, no more. You're either one of us or you don't make it that far. And the mainstream media, as we've been talking about, they're one of the main things behind it. They shadow banned Ron Paul while he was moving way up in the polls. Joey is a traitor. He armed an enemy of the U.S. They all do. They all do. Pretty much, most. But more than anything else, they fund their own pockets. Dana Ashley has many people dreaming of a mega tsunami. How do people how does somebody get somebody else to dream about something? Is it because she's talking about it a lot? I actually know somebody who has had dreams about tsunamis, in particular places too, like New York City and things like that. And this is a person that's not, well, at least wasn't then connected to anything going on in the world. That's right. MSM has been captured and is being run by Satan. Also, his other branch on our CIA. You got it, Armor. I can't say that, but nothing was fixed. And expecting a different result is just insanity. You've got to internally, you have to, anyway, we are, this November will be 2 years on. So we're 22 months into this. 22 months. So until they fix it, and I think it'll get fixed, you're going to have your nuisance just on and on and on. 60-some%. Let me see something here. Anybody know when Gavin Newsom was put in office? When's the last time he ran for office? 2018. Let's see what the results were then. (61.9 to 38.1). He ran against John H. Cox, Republican. Never even heard of him. And here's the thing, if you look at it, the most of the state is Republican. It's, of course, the parts that are around LA and stuff like that. One thing I think the Founding Fathers didn't see was these humongous cities controlling an entire big state. For example, most of New York State is conservative. But you can't get anything but liberal Democrats in there because all the people in New York City, the numbers themselves just overwhelm them. And this is without any kind of issues with the polls or anything. Just the numbers overwhelm it. You end up with effectively a democracy where 51% can tell 49% what to do. I'm not for the system, but one of the things that could be reformed until the system is dismantled in a peaceful way would be to have these huge centers. I don't know, what's New York have? 20, let's just using a round number, 30 electoral votes. And most of the population is in New York City. So let's say 18 of those electoral votes are just the boroughs of New York. The other 12 would be the whole rest of the state. That would be equal representation. It's like these states like Nebraska and what's the other one? There's two states that split their electoral votes. Nebraska, and Maine. I think that's fantastic. I think that's utterly fantastic. Each congressional district sends an electoral vote instead of the whole state. Like California is controlled mostly by Los Angeles and San Francisco. It just is. So you have all those millions and millions of people Same thing with New York. All controlled by very densely populated little small areas. Whereas if you said, okay, Los Angeles is this section, and that gets so many electoral votes, and San Francisco is this section, it gets so many, and the rest of the state, they get theirs too. I think it's a fantastic idea. And have you looked at the counties, how they split in the United States? There wouldn't be a chance on the left, not a chance. But yet they would still have their representation because they would win their little county or their little jurisdiction, whatever, of course. Beat and mix. I like that. This whole system, Republicans versus Democrats, is a waste of time. It is wicked, rigged. It won't change. I wholeheartedly agree. The system cannot fix itself. Republicans seem to be jelly-spined, corporate interest, and Democrats are ruthless as hell. Yeah, like Trump says, they fight dirty. They fight dirty. They're all feeding from the same money trough, though. And as I've said before, I have problems with both of them. The problems with Dems is way too much to name. And Republicans, they want to tell you what you can and can't do in your life. They're always trying to get together and outlaw something like NAC, right? That's so important. As soon as a study comes out and says this is effective for how should I put this? The immune system. Oh, all of a sudden, this has been around forever. N-acetylcysteine. It's just a piece of a protein. That's all it is. That's all it is. But once it was shown effective at helping the immune system, suddenly it had to be pulled. Republicans did that. How many remember DHEA? You can still get it at the moment. DHEA. DHEA is a supplement that, especially for men, balances their hormones and optimizes testosterone levels in their system. DHEA. And that goes against needing to get an injection to fix low testosterone, for example. So what happened? They tried to outlaw DHEA. Guess where DHEA comes from? Guess where they extract it from? A yam, like a sweet potato, a yam. It comes from a yam. And you know who one of the ones, yeah, that's right, DHEA went up a lot in price too. It's just amazing how this works. Chuck Grassley, he's one of the worst. He is one of the worst. He's constantly trying to pull people into subcommittees to ban something else. It's like, mind your own freaking business and get the freaking work on what the people want. Trust Grassley, right? Yeah, trust him to take away anything that might work for you outside of a certain pharmacological system or something like that. John is your favorite apostle, and no, I'm not a Bible thumper. John is extremely important because John, more than anyone else, expounds on love. Rich, why can't us, the people, go in and fire the whole Congress and all politicians, then put people in office who do what's right for the people as a whole? Simple said, simple, right? What's happened, Country Boy, is through the manipulation over the decades of our education system, civics isn't taught anymore. You're not taught that the government works for you. So by default, you believe the government is your controller when you are the controller of the government in our system. That's the way it's supposed to be. So 90% plus of the people don't even understand the civics of the country. That's a big problem right there. They're not going to get the truth from mainstream media. That's another unbelievably huge problem. But I say, in my entire lifetime, there isn't one Congress I could trust. Not one. Not one that didn't eventually try to take something away from you or leverage more control over you. No, not one. Not one Congress didn't at least try to get something through that would negatively affect your life as free people, freedoms that were given to you by God. My thing is, it's got to be taken one step further than even what you're saying. How about going and fire the whole Congress and all the politicians and put nobody else in there? Nobody. Self-control. But the people have to be told, re-educated on how that can be done. That is what the kingdom of God, I think, is going to be like. It'll be self-governed. Red yeast rice, yes. It works so good in naturally reducing cholesterol, allegedly, Casmage. Come on now. That the FDA made the manufacturers change the formulas, making it less effective. NAC available still on eBay. Yes, but here's the thing too. People on the supplement side have gotten smart. They really have. They've learned that almost every law there's loopholes. So what they've done is NAC, technically, what they said was, NAC is not a supplement. It's not a supplement. So you can't have it. See, it says supplement facts. You won't find that on the new brands. Now, they allowed them to sell out whatever they had. Wasn't that nice of them? People that bought millions of dollars of this on the shelf, they were allowed to actually sell it and get rid of it. So the supplement companies are wiser now. They're like, okay, we'll rebrand it, but we're not going to call it a supplement. I don't know what they call it, but they took supplement off of it. So that's why it's allowed. Because technically, the only way they could get to it under the law was to say it's not a supplement. But under the Steroid Control Act of 1982, I think, anything that is found in nature, it's a piece of a protein. You think protein's found in nature? In other words, there's 21 amino acids. You keep breaking them down, you get little pieces. You get L-arginine, you get L-ornithine, you get lysine, you get all these different amino acids. NAC is one of them. It's a piece of one of them, actually. And it has to be found in your body. We have protein in our body that breaks down all the time. NAC is in your body. But you can't supplement with it, so they took supplement off. So that was pretty cool. DHEA, not true. If you're happy with testosterone levels around 270, then take it as a 6-year-old. The shot would get you over 1,000. Oh, yeah, it's not going to make you have testosterone levels of a 21-year-old, that's for sure. But those that have irregularities and don't want to go to a jab, DHEA can help. I'm not saying it's going to make you at the top end of the scale or anything like that. Rich, is it a sin to get a heart transplant? That's easy, no. I may decline to consent if this is my standard cardiologist's decision. I don't want to do anything against God. No, there's nothing. Sin is the transgression of the law. Name me a law that says you can't get a heart transplant. Or one that even can be applied to it. Then we'll take a look at it, but I don't think there is one. If it's going against man or going against God, it's a sin. The heart transplant's coming from someone who's obviously deceased, so you're not hurting them. They've decided to donate it, so it was their will in the first place to help somebody else. That is godly. So I see nothing wrong with that. But I'm a meteorologist, not a preacher. That's what I was looking for. Thank you, Jack. Wow, all of a sudden 20 things came in above it. Newsom in 2019, 5.7 million. Yesterday, 7.7 million. Yeah, he went up in popularity after being a tyrant to the people. Yeah. Did they change the machines in California? Have they changed the machines anywhere? There have been some places I know that have banned them for the next election. Not enough, though. It's usually the states that ain't going to matter anyway. Like if Alabama bans certain machines, I won't even say the name of the company, it ain't going to change Alabama anyway. A heart comes from a living person always, unless they're brain dead. But they do that when it's when there's no hope. And besides, is it a sin to die, to kill yourself? Let's just say you wanted to kill yourself. Armor Blight says, I received from donating ligaments for the leg that was going to put in muscle flap in, so that helped me greatly, and that I was able to walk. That's fantastic, Armor Blight. That's what medicine should be doing. Jacob says, nothing means nothing until someone is arrested. Ding, 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 ding. Don't do what, Greasy? Did anyone doubt that Newsom would win? Yes, there was people, not here, I'm sure. This is how it's going to be all the time now. Yes, cheating, stealing, and lying. Allegedly, Vintage. Allegedly. You shouldn't say that. Does the CDC, did they weigh in on elections? Maybe they should. We can cover everything just by saying go by CDC guidelines. Your answer means a lot to me. Is suicide a sin? Sin is the transgression of the law. Now, if you commit suicide, that means you have zero hope left. Zero hope. You're in a mental state to where you see no possible gain from existing. I think God understands that. And besides, I don't see any law that says if you hang yourself, that's a sin. It doesn't matter anyway. We all sin. We all sin. We're all liars. We're all liars. Yeah, Vintage, where if they fix the has that video ever come out in Georgia? Soon. Remember, I emphasize soon because it's always seems like soon never happens. Let's see. Ballot box video, Georgia. Fact check. Georgia's suitcase video is missing context. I've seen the whole thing. I don't see any missing context. None. Let's see what we got here. Video shows poll workers. Oh, that's December 3rd, 2020, 2020, 2020, 2020, 2020. Nope, hasn't happened. Not that I can see. Well, that was 3 weeks ago. It's happening soon. You're going to see this damning evidence in Georgia. But I do think Arizona is going to come through this week. Just a feeling. Hope so. Good night, David. Thanks, brother. Thanks for everything. God bless you. Sins are a man-made thing made for control. I'm sorry. Sins are a man-made thing for control. That's it. There is zero judgment from God and the universe. Sin is a fear tactic. Interesting. I'm not totally out of your ballpark, but I'm not in it either. Carbide says, yes, Rich, I have been there, and it was as bad as it was bad. I tried to kill myself with a box cutter across the neck and wrist. That was 10 years ago and was an atheist then. Well, thank God you're still here, Carbide, for us. I got down to one day where I was ready to do it during my 2015 to 2017 period in there. I used to know exactly what it was, but it's all faded away. But it wasn't the time yet for me to go because I would have been gone. Something really weird happened. My son picked up on something, and he wasn't that into picking stuff up then, but he did, and he ended up calling my other son, and they came over and talked me out of it. But I never said I was going to do anything, although I was planning on it. He just picked up something different with something I said. I don't know. But I was close. I had planned it out. I know exactly how I was going to do it. Mine was going to be with pills. How many people know the drug Soma? Soma. Remember, says, broke down and smoked some cigarettes after going without it for 3 weeks now. I feel spiritually terrified. Armor light. Not everybody breaks everything the first time. Keep slugging. If you need a break and go back for a little while, whatever. Just make, if it's your desire to quit cigarettes, I don't know if this will help or not. This is what finally I tried over and over and over years to try to quit. Never could do it. I got medication from my doctor, which was Wellbutrin. That's before they called it Chantix or whatever. It was Wellbutrin, and that whole change in name was so insurance companies could cover it different, by the way. So my doctor. I told my doctor I wanted to quit. She said, have you ever heard of this? I said, no. She said, well, if you take this pill, I think it was one a day, maybe two, one in the morning, one in the evening. Take it for 2 weeks. She said, keep smoking. That's always good if you're a smoker. It's like, oh, I don't have to quit right now. She said, by the time 2 weeks comes, you won't have the craving to smoke as much. And sure enough, about 3 or 4 days before that 2 weeks is up, I noticed I didn't have as much of a craving. That was one thing. The other piece of advice was pick a date that was very important to me. So I picked my son, who was 2 years old at the time. I picked his birthday. He was 1, so he was going to turn 2. So that was going to be the day I quit, his birthday. And there were certain other things that I don't remember, but those were the two main things. Oh, and let as many people know as possible that you're quitting, because that holds you accountable. And also, for the good people, it'll help them. It'll help you lean on them, the good people, to get support when you're near the breaking point. I found the worst day was the third day, And I actually, God help me with this, I swear. I was in my backyard. It was dark. I was in Maryland. It was in the fall. There was leaves all over the yard. And you'll know why I'm bringing that up in a minute. I made a mistake, and I kept some cigarettes like hidden at home. And so the third day, my family wanted to go out and watch a movie, and I was like, no, I don't want to. What I wanted to do is stay home and light up a cigarette. So they left. I went out back because I didn't want to smoke in the house. I didn't smoke in the house anyway. But I went out back, and I went to light the cigarette. Again, it's pitch dark. No moon, probably cloudy Maryland. And as soon as I put the lighter near my cigarette, I heard this like that. Sorry, Charlie. Charlie spooks easy. I forgot. It had to be some sort of animal that ran past me, and the leaves were ruffling. So it scared me. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to give it 5 minutes. If I still want to smoke in 5 minutes, if it's still uncontrollable and I just have to have a cigarette in 5 minutes, I will. Never smoked again. I don't know if that'll help or not, but that was me. Ashes to ashes. You know, that's talking about suicide and having that name. Anyway, you lost so many friends to suicide. Thank God I don't know anybody. An overdose. I only know one person that I lost to overdose, and it wasn't a friend. It was somebody I knew. But anyway, one day here, gone the next. Everyone enjoy life. It is fleeting. The thing is what gets people to these points. You have that drug, Chantix, but I haven't used it yet. 2 weeks. If it's the same thing, it was Wellbutrin. I think it's the same thing. But don't go by me. Make sure your doctor says it's okay for you to have it. And I'm serious about that. Why do some people become silent when Rich starts talking about religion? I'm not exactly mainstream, am I? You know, if it's mainstream, it's got to be wrong. Sorry, but doesn't life teach you that? Dogs are the best. They are the best. Imagine Church of God, huh? Dukes, yes. Charlie has actually helped me with, because I had Charlie then. I wanted to crawl into a hole and die, but I had my other dog to take care of still, so that wasn't an option. Yeah. During that period of time, I had Charlie, and he was, in fact, that was the trigger, because I told my son, take care of Charlie or something. And I've said that before, but he knew I meant it in a different context. But even though I didn't try to make it seem that way. But during those dark periods, I still had to go walk him and get out and do stuff, and it helped. I didn't like it at the time, but it helped. Corey says, that's not it. I'm thankful for the country I live in, and I'm thankful for as many freedoms as I have. It's just the realization that it's being given away. That's why. Yeah, you know what, Corey? With me, it's more like for my children and their children. They won't have the same. They already don't have the First Amendment. They don't have the Fourth Amendment. You really don't have the Fifth Amendment because with all the spying, that's the Fourth Amendment, that they're doing, you end up testifying against yourself, Fifth Amendment, in a lot of ways, if you're doing crimes. But the thing is today, it's what do they define as a crime? And what do they define as not a crime? Evidently, like people like Hillary Clinton, who disclose classified information, it's not a crime. No reasonable prosecutor would take up the case. I guarantee if it was against Rich, and I disclose classified information, I guarantee you, reasonable or unreasonable, the prosecutors would be fighting to take up the case. Yeah, I bet you have, Michael. Michael was the police. Oh, that's shotgun, sliced wrist. Shotgun's got to be one of the worst. Hanging, jumping off an overpass. You know, one of my favorite. Yeah, Corey. Yeah, they have no idea. Yeah, my children still had, because we lived in really suburbia, they still had the same kind of childhood I did, where they could just go out and play and you didn't have to worry. And they weren't taught transgenderism in school and how to hate your country and all that kind of stuff. But that's all rapidly deteriorating. There was an Oriole pitcher who I like to like a lot, Mike Flanagan, and he was a left-handed pitcher. I'm left-handed, so anyway, he retired, and he ended up becoming the general manager of the team. And the team was bad when he was general manager, and he took that so personally that he killed himself with a shotgun. And they said it was so bad. The crime scene, or the scene, I should say, was so bad. You couldn't even make out his face. Anyway, they had to identify him through other means. Whatever they say is a crime is how it goes, even though Biden is guilty of all the crimes they accused Trump of. And more. There was no laptop that he was connected to. He wasn't connected to China as the big guy getting the millions in the background. It's sickening. Yeah, what about that, Sticks? What about 4-star generals calling China to warn them about his commander-in-chief? Think our system isn't broken? Milley needs to be up there with the others, dangling. You know what I mean? Hi, Charlie. You going to come here and get on camera? We'll spoil our kids so much that they can't deal with reality now. Who would want them to have to deal with this reality? Things just seemed a lot simpler back then. Duke says, pretty much my best friend just died in July from an overdose. He was in New Jersey scallop fishing. Had a relapse that day, and the fentanyl got him. Great kid despite the issues with addiction. Yes, Dukes, and I bet you had to get that fentanyl off the streets, didn't he? Just a guess. Fentanyl killing people, for the most part, is the government. It's their fault. It's because it's illegal. I've gone through this before. There's no controls. One might be 10 times the dose last time. One might be 50,000 times the dose of the fentanyl last time. It's cut all kind of different ways. And China is the one feeding it in for the most part. Military officers are forced to leave for refusing to take the jab. It is an interesting time we live in. But as I keep saying, people will get their drugs no matter what. If I wanted to get anything I wanted right now, I mean, not this moment, I couldn't get it, but if I worked on it for a few days, I could get heroin, fentanyl, any kind of narcotic I wanted, any kind of psychedelic I wanted. All I have to do is go out and start making the right connections and have the green. Everybody knows that. So when you make it illegal, you get fentanyl times 10, fentanyl times 500,000, fentanyl times 1/3, fentanyl times 75. Because there's no regulation on it, and it's all black market. But I know that's a lot for people to get to mentally. What do you mean make all drugs legal? Look at countries that have done it. Look at Portugal in particular. People aren't dying from drug overdoses anymore in Portugal. In fact, most people are getting off because The government is there to assist them and help them, and people are now set up to help them. If they still want to do whatever, okay, but do it in this controlled environment. Trust me, you can, I can, anybody can get whatever they want. All you have to do is have the money, start asking around. So what we've done is we've taken whatever, alcohol. We put people in office in government and told the government, what did the government tell us? Oh no, that's prohibition. Prohibition. You have to take alcohol away from the people. So what happened? They were running alcohol out of the White House. Go look at the history. It started organized crime, or I shouldn't say started. It enhanced, like on steroids, organized crime, right? The mafia, all that, because they were bootlegging, right? And oh, God forbid, if you're doing moonshine, you're making dandelion wine in your basement. That's imprisonable. You can be imprisoned. So now you got people making moonshine that is poisonous because there's no controls on it, and the whole gambit. You got all those issues. Then they repeal it. But when they do, oh, there's a whole bunch of brand new taxes and regulations on it. It's all crap. You voted for someone to go in there and tell you what you can't do, and then when you want it back, you have to beg them for it, and then they're going to charge you for the right to have it. What's wrong with this picture? Yep, vintage, because they couldn't make money off of any of it. Now they're making money out of all of it. So yes, Matthias. Allegedly now, fentanyl is cut into drugs sent here from Mexico, paid in full from the U.S. government and Mexico president. And don't forget the China connection. Stick says, Southern Prepper 1, whose retired infantry has contacts who told him 2,500 soldiers at Fort Carson, Colorado have refused. You guys know what that means. Good to know, Sticks. It's what it's going to take. It's going to take starving the beast in many different ways. 2 jabs a year and boosters every month. That's a good one in a little list. And it's almost true. It's almost that bad. You think they'll give certain groups of people like the military just placebo? I don't go down that road anymore. This whole thing was supposed to be placebo because it was Trump doing it. That's just more deception then. That's just more deception. Is that what we signed up for our government? What are they going to do later? They're going to say, did you get this? Let's just hypothetically say 3 years down the road, they've noticed that everybody that got a certain thing right now is having certain issues, bladder issues. I don't know. I'm going to pick something. They're having bladder issues. Are they going to say, we need to determine if you had the real one or the fake one? Were you in the military? I don't know. I just don't buy this anymore. I don't think anybody's protected. Right in. Why should I pay taxes to fund the criminal organization? That's exactly what it's getting funded. Exactly what's getting funded. Well put. Yeah, what are the booster shots boosting? I told you about the guy, the total nut that I know, who was against it all, then all of a sudden went and got it. And then he runs up to this testing facility once every month or whatever, gets his antibodies tested. He got the Pfizer. I'm pretty sure he said it was Pfizer. And he got his antibodies tested. It's only been so many months, 4 months maybe since he got it. And his antibody, two. It's like nothing. The antibody's supposed to be way high. So what does he do? On his own, he goes out and gets Moderna. Then goes back and gets tested again, and now his antibodies are like so many thousands or whatever. Stupid is as stupid does. Meanwhile, I know somebody who came down with this, which I don't think is viral, but that's beside the point. Came down with this in early April. So that's of 2020. So that's a year and a half ago. My daughter-in-law. Michael just tested positive. Her son just tested positive. She's living with them. She goes and gets tested. Nothing. She still got the antibodies from naturally having it herself. Which Coleman Camping Company had a pressurized cup baker stove designed specifically to burn alcohol for fuel via moonshine and other alcohol sources from the 1930s. You know, my grandparents told me a story because they were living in the Depression, and for a while they were just, it was like every day they lived on, you ready for this? They lived out of a railroad car. I think she said 2 months. And they had a pound of fatback. Have you ever seen fatback? It's literally fat. There's little teeny strips of beef, or not beef, pork in it. They lived off 2 pounds of fatback for 2 weeks, I think. That's how poor they were. You know how they started making money? They would take moonshine across the border. They would stick it in the trunk of their car and drive, just a regular car, across the border, and they would get paid for it. When the government tries to control something and get people away from what they naturally want to do, people just find ways around it. Just like this. North Shore Rob, I've been reading your comments, but I can't read your comments, if you know what I mean. Certain words I know not to say. Wow, Gear Up, same thing. Ashes, you never had a jab in your life? Did you go to school? You go to public school and expose yourself? That's another thing, too. We were told you can't go to school unless you had the measles, the mumps, the whatever, vaccines, or the illness. How come all of a sudden the illness doesn't count anymore? Anyway, CDC says it doesn't count. It doesn't count. No question about it. So anyway, what they call them usual childhood diseases. You couldn't go to school. You can't get your kids in school unless you've had them jabbed with all these UCD things. I don't understand. If everybody else is worried about it and they got their kids jabbed and that protects them, why are they worried about some kid that doesn't have it? Whoa. My computer just freaked out. Marty, I'm going to put your comment up. Always follow CDC guidelines. Thank you, Corey. This is simple stuff. All people have to do is think a little. Danny says, I checked how many people die every day in the U.S. It was 8,000 for a certain disease. The daily deaths were about 1,500 or less for the nation. Yeah, and whatever we were told, remember this is CDC. The CDC said this. Only 6% of the people that they say died from a certain disease died from that disease. 6%. So take the numbers and multiply it by 0.06, and still you're going to get the gunshot wounds and the whatever mixed in there. That they said, well, the person tested positive, even though they were shot 6 times in the head. They tested positive, so COVID did it. Oh, I see what's freaking my computer out. Hold on. Let me install Apple software update because it keeps freaking me out. People are saying goodnight. Yeah, I'm going to have to say goodnight too. Good night, Ezra. Anything you guys want to talk about in particular on the next stream? I usually don't ask this question, but if nothing comes up, like if Arizona doesn't come out by Friday with something, I think they're going to. But if they don't, or if we don't get the soon coming video that's going to expose it all in Atlanta, we might not have anything to talk about. There are some topics that are coming as soon as I can get to them. Now, I'm going to be doing a video. I keep saying I never get to them because everything else pops up. But I started to talk about this. My submarine video, which evidently is one of my most popular videos. And I swear when I made it, it was like, should I even do this? That's not that good. Let me see if I can find it. And I'll post it for those who haven't seen it. I'm going to be doing one on torpedoes. Torpedoes. There we go. How many videos? How many? Let's see how many people have watched this video. Maybe 100,000, 270, almost 271,000 people have watched this video. Flat Earth submarines can't work on the globe. Here's proof. It's a 19-minute video. There was a lot of animation in it. Oh, when I made that video, it was like, oh, it was so dreadful. It took me a long time to do all the animation. That's when I was new to doing it as well. I could do it much faster now. But here's the link to this. You may want to watch this first because I'm going to be doing one on a torpedo. There was a torpedo hit in World War II. Can't use today's technology because it's much better. But in World War II, the torpedoes, if they ran correctly, what would they say? They ran torpedo one fired, running hot, straight, and normal. So they fired it. It just went. It had propellers, but it just went until it hit its target or the propeller ran out of gas, so to speak. There was one that was 12 miles away. 12 miles in World War II. So I'm going to be doing a video on that. So if you haven't watched the hello Chic, if you haven't watched the submarine video, you don't know why I'm even bringing up torpedoes, but it's the same concept. But you hear the WHO came out and said stop all boosts at least till the end of the year and until the little poor countries have 40% of the population jabbed. The WHO did, huh? World Health Organization. Who do we go by if there's a contrast? If the WHO and the CDC are against each other on a subject, maybe we'll have to ask YouTube for a ruling. Who rules, the WHO or the CDC? People here think beings will die from it, Bill. I'm hoping, and it's just hope. I have nothing to bank it on. I'm hoping that there are antidotes for these things that are in place, or med beds, or something that will fix the problems. Here's the thing, Ashes says, doctors need to repent for doing the devil's work. They don't even think they're doing something wrong, most of them. They really don't. They're so in the box. Like I said, my cardiologist went through the whole litany, said it was a miracle that my heart functions back to normal. No high blood pressure, no cholesterol issues, no issues. But I'm not on any drugs. That scares her. She was dead serious. Drugs for what? Controlling what? Everything is under your normal guidelines. They can't think out of the box either. My son's dad died from fentanyl overdose. Oh, sorry to hear that, Maria. I bet that was illegal too. Is there any proof on the med beds? No more proof than people being arrested that I know of. I've heard people say, they don't believe med beds exist. I've seen them. Well, that's fine for you. Show them. Cough them up. If they're that great, we should all have them already. And please tell me there's vet beds so we can have dogs live as long as we do. Country boy, when we get hydrogen-powered fuel vehicles. For real! I knew about this. Yeah, Stanley Meyer, our mayor for that water car in 1980s, they killed him. Yes, I was going to say probably the 70s or 80s is when I was thinking. Very, very simple water car. Doesn't matter if you separate out the hydrogen or the oxygen, both will burn. Huckabee, you speaking to me? Because if you are, I don't know what you're talking about. Also notice that when you make comparisons to historical events, Nazis, Tuskegee, Fauci, age, treatments, etc., people cannot make the connection just because you're painted orange. Purple is still an orange. Yeah, if you're speaking to me, Huckabee, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm guessing you're speaking to someone else. Robert Klotz keeps falling asleep. Waiting for the show to start. You know, there's a thing I watch on just from conversations with family and friends. Okay, cool. There's a something from the Wall Street Journal. Flash just came in. President Kennedy was no. Elon Musk's SpaceX launches first all-civilian flight to orbit. Let's see who all these all-civilians are. You know, it's like your next-door neighbor, right? Inspiration 4 mission, led by billionaire businessman Jared Isaacman, who's one billionaire, would take Americans the farthest into space since 2009. What? Who in 2009 went into space? Elon Musk's SpaceX on Wednesday evening launched 4 civilians toward the deepest orbit Americans have traveled into more than a decade, in another milestone flight for private space travel. I have to subscribe to read the full story. Thank you, the Wall Street Journal, you piece of crap. Last chance, $4 per month. Oh, sorry I missed it. Goodbye. Yeah, they're going to space. It's always going to be the elite. It's never going to be me and you. It's never going to be your next door neighbor. It's never going to be anybody you could ever trust to say, this is what I saw. What happened in 2009? Nothing that I know of. Actually, nothing's happened ever, so. They're using COVID sniffing dogs in Miami. Truly psychotic. Not sure who is worse, the liars or the gullible that believe this silly stuff. Hey, if you can train dogs, then why do we need to get tests? All we have to do is walk by a dog, and if he doesn't bite our head off, I guess we're safe. So what they have to do is they have to get a swab up your nose. This is the typical way. And they have to jam it up there, and like Trump says, make a right turn, and they get all that in there. And then they have to put it in a machine, and then they have to grow the media to see if there's even enough to call it what they're calling it. But a dog, you're just going to walk past a dog. COVID. And the people will believe it. And they'll be like, I need me one of them dogs. You know what? I'm going to get one of those dogs, And when these people walk past me without a mask, if my dog hits on them, I know I have to stay more than 6 feet away from them. That's another thing, 6 feet. Always go by 6 feet CDC guidelines. Unless you're Mexican or Hispanic, then it's like 6.1 feet. Europe says, I can confirm the COVID sniffing dogs, it was such a security theater. Hipster says, I remember it was a bunch of rich Saudis that were taken in this flight here. That sounds right. You think you're going to be able to go up and say, okay, for $1,000, you can go up into space. Ain't going to happen. It would have already happened. In fact, it probably would be down to about the flight of the price of going cross country in an aircraft. What's up with Norm McDonald? I don't even know who that is. These pit bulls, if they eat you, you're positive. But then the dog's got to be positive, right? You remember they started to go down that little road for a while that dogs could be transmitting it. I was like, I don't think they're going to get much traction with that because they're going to really end up with big problems they haven't even thought about. And of course, all of a sudden it stopped. You remember they started that early on? It's possible that your dog or cat could have it and be spreading it to your family. And if they said that was true, you'd have all these people euthanizing their pets. So sick. But see, the CDC never said that, so it's obviously false. Back in the day, they said in 2020 we would be in vacation bungalows in the Sea of Tranquility. Hey, yeah, you know the other thing is you see all these things, they're dating themselves now. Like in Star Trek, it said, whatever, by the year 20, it's already passed whatever the year is, 2014, something like that. We were, that was our colony on Mars was established. And you get all these sci-fi things that are starting to post-date themselves with how advanced. See, back then, they knew, like the Wright brothers, do their little 40-yard dash in the air, whatever it was. And then you have transatlantic flights 20 years later. That's just the way man has worked. And it's been leapfrogging faster and faster as technology gets faster and faster. Somehow not with going into space. We're still not back to the moon, are we? They're just waiting for the computer technology to keep up with not... See, the ISS is the test. It fades out and does all these weird things, and people become transparent. And sometimes the channel isn't on right, and people come by in harnesses, which the other side just... You make up something really stupid. That's how they exercise. See, that's right. That's right. What do you do with these people? How do you ever shake them out of it? Driving flying cars. Yeah. Wasn't Back to the Future also? You had the flying cars, and that was that was before us now. 2016, maybe? I can't remember the exact date. But I think we can have flying cars that don't run on gasoline. Yeah, that's right. Do you imagine now the moon is in our atmosphere, so what was all the radiation belt talk? You still bring that up, it's still there. They can't get rid of it. Although eventually one day they will. You go to search Van Allen belt, they'll say, that was mistaken. It's actually 6 trillion miles away. Sheik David, 2015, thank you. I don't know about that, country boy. Tell me why farmers were paid to destroy crops and digging mass pits than buying cows and pigs in mass pits, burying them in mass pits. I don't know about that. I know that the government has told farmers to do the opposite. Farm every inch of land every year with one crop, a monocrop. They started doing that in the 80s, and it has destroyed all of the minerals in the land. And it's done a whole bunch of other stuff that's bad too. I'm going to use the word planet because it's in the saying. Save the planet, eat meat. And when I first heard that, I was like, explain. And it's explained. I was like, oh, never thought about that. Eat more chicken. You know what's really weird, Cow Pal? All of a sudden, I can't eat chicken. I mean, I'll go back to it, I know, but nothing chicken-wise. It just, I don't care if it's barbecue chicken or fried chicken or broiled chicken. No matter what it is, chicken nuggets. I don't want any chicken. It's weird. The moon isn't vaccinated yet, says the CDC. That's why it's got all those pock marks in it, and it's going to get worse. That's twisted clown. Maria, they have cures for every disease. Who was the one here was talking about cancer and a certain drug that begins with the letter I? Because remember I told you, I'm not going to say it again actually, but remember I told you can get anything if you really wanted to. The reason why I'm asking is I know somebody, my best friend actually in Maryland. His wife has cancer. Auto baby, yeah, that's right. But somebody actually on here said it cured theirs, or someone they know, and I wanted to know the protocol because I want to talk to him about this now. She was diagnosed with stomach cancer. I'm going to say 2.5 years ago. And you don't live 2.5 years with stomach cancer generally. She immediately cut out all sugar and did some other things. And she did do some chemo, but I think like a low grade thing of it. It wasn't that harsh. In any case, her cancer did regress. It's not gone, but the tumor has shrunk. That's right, country boy. But that isn't what the CDC says. They have cures plus cooking up bioengineered diseases. Dogs on planes now. One died while sniffing. Is that true? I think that's maybe a joke. Oh, that's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful scripture. How can people not believe the scriptures? These things written 2,000 years ago. And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. There are so many things that are true today that were written 2,000 or longer years ago. How about in Revelation where it talks about pharmakia is the actual word? Anybody know that exact scripture? It's not, of course, it's not translated that way in the Bibles today, but it's drugs. And pharmakia more like controlled drugs, like drugstores and big pharma. Romans 1:20. That's not the one I'm talking about, but let's see what that is. Why do you pick these versions? I never asked for these versions. Here we go. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Getting there. Because although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God, nor were thankful, but became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Professing to be wise, they became fools. Let me read that again. Professing to be wise, the Faucis of the, I mean, not him, other people that go against him. Professing to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of the incorruptible God into an image made like corruptible man and birds and four-footed animals and creeping things. Therefore God also gave them up to uncleanliness in the lusts of their hearts. Lusts of their hearts. It's all about the money. To dishonor their bodies among themselves, who exchanged the truth of God for the lie. Notice it's a definite article, the lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Revelation, thank you, Ashes. For by thy pharmakia were all nations deceived. For by the use of medicine, drugs, spells, or poisons, all nations deceived. Never been more true than today. Never in the history of man. Duke's 33. You were accidentally blocked. Shoot. Let me try something. See if I can undo it this way. Because we have one of the little sucker eggs in here who's got a troll. Some little biatch. Yes. Now you're back. You should be able to comment now again, Dukes. Sorry about that. Webcamschat.com, hot girls and boys video chat was blocked. Yep, sorry about that, Dukes. It as soon as I hit block, it jumped one. So you're back. What I can do is I can actually go to your channel and unblock it. That is cool. I didn't know I could do that. Otherwise, I don't know how it would get you back. Because once you're gone on here, at least for me, I can't go back. I can't undo it. Danny. Yes, Mrs. Marks, I am feeling fantastic. Thank you very much. What I was left with was allergies at the end. I know there was nothing else left with. So what I did was I got some Flonase. I broke down and decided to get some Flonase. And it's on my third day of it or whatever, and it's almost 100% gone. So thank you very much for asking. Much better, thanks. But the weird headaches and the other stuff that was coming with it, that also my daughter-in-law had after Michael tested positive, but neither one of us got you know what. Thank you, North Shore. Yes, please thumbs up, everyone. So, talk about human resonance and particulate matter out of whack. Bad. I don't know enough about it to talk about it, Leo. I know about it, but no details. I'd be the blind leading the blind. I'm sorry. So, anything in particular you want to talk about next time, anybody, before we go here? Talk about the eclipse on flat Earth. Solar or lunar. I got to do that video, too, to show absolutely that it's impossible to have an umbra penumbra from a sun 92 million miles away, 93 million miles away. Can't happen. And it was so funny. I was thinking about this the other day, and I probably said it out loud. But the other side, they kept saying, I can prove an umbra penumbra. Here's my video link. So I go and they proved an umbra penumbra. Yeah, they proved it. And then I kept getting, it's been 3 days. Aren't you going to respond? Aren't you going to come back and respond to us? We proved it. We proved you wrong. There is an umbra penumbra. So then when I came out and said, this proves that we have a local sun, because you can't get an umbra penumbra from parallel rays. Not even crickets. Never another comment from them. They proved it. So are they going to go back and say, no, we lied? Yep, you're right, OKB. I'm not going to bring that up either on here because of no First Amendment. Yeah, you're right, Carbide. The most important topic to talk about cannot be freely talked about. That's probably true. There's so many things we can't freely talk about. You ever noticed that the list is growing? 140 peeps in here, only 6 thumbs up there. We actually have 166 peeps in here combined with the two. So those of you who are on Wake the Republic, I would rather most people be on Wake the Republic going forward, because this channel is 2 strikes down. And if you haven't subscribed to Wake the Republic, it's the first link in the description. Did I put it there today? Yes, I did. So we are we're waiting several pieces of information to come out. I fully expect that whenever Arizona information is going to come out, it'll probably be leaked back to the powers that be in advance. So we'll have some sort of maybe FF event precede it so that it doesn't hit the news. This is why the news had to be taken care of in the first 4 years of Trump's presidency, in my opinion, and it wasn't. But anyway, if we don't have that to talk about Friday, we'll just do what we do here. We'll just jump around. As not as your brother didn't have that many allergies before taking it, but he's super tough, so he's just toughing it out. Now he's got a lot of allergies, but didn't before. So it sounds like a compromised immune system. Probably needs a booster, but check with the physician to make sure. His thick skin. He weighs around 250 now. Used to weigh much more. Ozzy says, your bad shoulder workout, I really need to find out how you worked around your, whatever that is. I think you're just trying to, whatever my problem is. I have, my supraspinatus has a rotator. Well, that's one of the muscles in the rotator to make up the rotator cuff. It actually took me many doctors to get a straight answer on exactly what it is. Back here, in the back here, which is where it hurts, there's a muscle that runs this way. Well, sort of underneath, it runs kind of like up like this. That's the supraspinatus. That and 2 other muscles come through a narrow opening in the shoulder. and there's tendons that connect it all together. And those tendons, the one that in particular with me that is in the supraspinatus parts, is torn. It's torn pretty severely, actually. And so a quick modification. Now that's me. Now also this shoulder, I've got a what's called a GH tendon tear, and I never had any issues with that until recently. And but in any case, what I do is I can't do any pressing, and even if I could, even if I was 100% today, 100% healed, I can do anything I wanted, I would not go back to pressing because I do so much better without it. No bench pressing. My chest is more developed now than all the bench pressing I ever did in the world because of the different exercises I do. I do a pec fly machine, I do cable crossovers. That's it. But it's direct pec work. Now for the deltoids, almost everybody has the front deltoid right here, this front part. This is well developed on most men, even women. You might not be able to see it, but it's. If I was more cut, I should have done this when I was cutting a while back. I'm bulking right now, so it's not so plain. But there you can see it. You see the muscles here in the front. That is very well developed on most people. Why? Because they do pressing movements. So then why people will do these front raises, that develops, again, this front part. I have no idea. I never did it anyway. I just was like, I know I'm getting enough work with my pressing movements. But now that I can't do pressing movements, the pec fly machine, because you're going in like this, works these muscles in the front. So I get all the work I need. They stabilize. That's what they do. But for the side delts, and the rear delts, which are underdeveloped in most people, that's what gives you that capped look. Sort of like that. The lighting isn't good to show it here. If I had down lighting, you could see it much better. But everybody's like, what do you do for your shoulders? I go to the gym. I've been watching when you do shoulders. Can you tell me why you do this or whatever? I'll make it very simple. I'm going to put it down. I'm very close to starting my video series on how I work out or whatever. Maybe I'll start with the shoulders. But basically what I do is I lean forward and I do side dumbbell lateral raises. By leaning forward, I take everything off the front and shift it back. I mean, all three heads work. All right. Don't get me wrong. When you lean forward, I lean forward and do side lateral raises, which is out to the side. We were doing this backwards. It hits the side delts and the rear delts. When you're done, your rear delts, you should be able to reach back here, and they should be like on fire as far as, mine actually feel hot, but they feel like bricks because I've shifted the work back here to the side and the back. So when I'm done these lean lateral raises, and I also do what are called incline bench, lay on my side, and I'm going to actually have Michael film this when I do it. It's easier to explain. I do lateral raises that way because what that does is it brings out this bottom part. And this is really cool looking when you're cut because it'll be a nice V here. But I'll put all that together real soon, I promise. But it works nice. Most things I work in the 4 to 6 rep range, believe it or not, very low. That is not the case with shoulders. Shoulders are one of the muscles that need, because of the fast and slow twitch muscle fibers that make up the shoulders, they need higher work. They need higher type of rep ranges for the muscle fibers to activate correctly. So you're going to do a lot of volume with shoulders, but not as heavy as you would, like with benching or something else. Oh, Danny, sorry to hear that. Deltoid burns from the anthrax shot the Army gave me. You know, I wonder if my shoulders weakened because, they had machines. Air guns that you lined up in the Navy. Walk a couple steps forward. Two people one person on each side. Walk a few more steps. They're shooting, and they turn the gun and shoot you again. You were jabbed and jabbed and jabbed. In fact, I don't have my card. You have a vaccine card that the Navy gives you when you get out. I don't know what happened to mine. But my best friend, who was in with me on the buddy program, so he got the exact same thing I did. We went to the exact same places, whatever. He says his is fan folded 4 times with all the list of all the different vaccines they gave us. When you do workout videos, please show us mature women how to tone up our upper arms. Thanks. You got it, Mrs. Marks. A lot of that is not tone up. It's where women tend to store fat. Women tend to store fat in the triceps area in particular. So a lot of that can go away with intermittent fasting and stuff like that. But I'll keep that in mind. That's a triceps. And there's only 2 triceps exercises I do, period. And I've got fantastic triceps. They're humongous. And I'm so strong with triceps that I can't even, there isn't enough weight on the stack for me to do. So I bought a pin on Amazon, the pin you stick in where you select how much weight you want. I bought another pin that I stick in, and then I pull like a 25-pound plate and put that on and hang it there and add that weight to the stack. That's how strong my triceps are. Yes, it does, Bill. And to me, it's so freaking easy. When I go to cut, you know how hard it is? I'm like, okay. I eat right now I'll give you an example. I don't eat right now even until 11 a.m., but I might even eat up to 11 p.m. That's 12 hours of eating. But I'm bulking right now. When I start the cut, that'll be 11 a.m. I start eating, and then I'm done at 8 p.m. And then it might be 11 to 6 p.m. and 11 to 4 p.m. The faster and more I want to lose fat, the less hours I eat in. And it's easy to slowly graduate into it. For me, some people, my cousin, who's been trying to lose weight since he was in his 30s, we're about the same age. I keep telling him to just do this, do this. And I said, look, start out 12 hours a day you eat, 12 hours you don't. He wrote back a few days later, it's too hard. You got to put in the effort. Rich, you should rewatch your video for 6 years. Great deception coming. My flat earth will kill you. It was just my recommendation this morning. It was just in your recommendations this morning. You know what? Maybe I should go back and rewatch that. I remember doing that. I think that was the one that had the beach in the background. And I talked about how a little ripple will interrupt the sunlight coming to the shore, but yet 8 inches of curve per mile doesn't. And we can see miles out. And how the water's nice and calm, but yet we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. I don't know what my point was back then, but that thing, okay, I guess it's worth going back to see. I don't like watching myself, though. I lift turkey legs up to my food. Oh, turkey now. See, whereas I don't like chicken right now, I could go for turkey. Like Thanksgiving turkey, oh, yeah. Seriously, stop with the tries. Ever wonder why your shoulder's going out? No, it's not with the tries. It's definitely not with the tries. My shoulders don't even hurt at all when I do tricep work. The worst thing I do that hurts my shoulders, number one, believe it or not, is curls. Regular curls. In fact, that's what got me to go to the doctor. It hurt so bad. I was trying to curl 55s. At the third rep, whatever, it's like someone took a knife and just was doing this on my shoulders. Like, whoa, what is this? That's the worst thing. Benching or pressing is the second worst thing. So I obviously work my biceps, but they're not standard curls. I do concentration curls and a few other things. I've learned to go around all these injuries. You can preach your curl 100-pound dumbbells. That's fantastic, Dukes. 185 static holds make you strong. Yes! Most people don't know about static holds, Dukes. That's like old school. That's going to be my program. I do static holds. I don't try to get that strong with dumbbells as far as preacher curls because I have to stabilize with the shoulder. You still have to. But regular curls, that kills me. But if I lean forward and do concentration curls, I'm fine. Or other things too, I've noticed I can do. Why can't you lift, Johnny? Yep, Dukes. Any pain, don't do it. It's not worth it. I used to be like, tough it through. That was stupid. There are always ways around it. Johnny, you want to wrestle? Have I ever been a personal trainer? Only to, yeah, I have, but not professionally. And I did do the Muscle Fast program I had, and I sold it for, it was over $100. I sold it for, and I sold hundreds of copies, maybe even 1,000 copies. I don't know what, it was a lot. And I had one person, because I had a, my guarantee was, not 30 days, 60 days, anytime. If you don't think this works, let me know and I'll refund your money because it works. I had one person, who said, I tried this, it didn't work. Guess how long they had the program? A little over 2 weeks. If you think you're going to turn yourself around in 2 weeks, sorry. Did you unturn yourself around in 2 weeks? But, oh, thank you, Mrs. Marks. Do what you love. I think you'd be very good at it. Armor of light, my neck. I've just now started, actually, this bulk is the first time I've worked my neck because I'm trying to get the pain away. I have C3, C4 issues. And the first time I've worked traps. The traps hurt all the time. And when I would work traps, it would be like double pain. Not hurting pain, but it's like it's a soreness pain. It's not good either. So I just didn't work traps. This is the first time I've worked traps and neck, because now it's like it's going to hurt the same whether I work it or not. So might as well work it. So I could have had nice traps all this time, but I will by the time I'm done, I think. Stick says we had a lot of women tonight. Good thing this topic was at the end. But I had a lot more definition at the end of July. That's when I was really cut. You know what's really cool this time? I started my bulking July 20th. So this is almost 2 months into it. And my percent body fat's only gone up like 2%. That's the lowest it's ever happened. But I've changed my macros around. In case you don't know, that's your mix of protein, carbohydrates, and fat. Danny, you shot 40-40 expert in the Army and never lost it. So that means you had to use Coriolis effect to be perfect like that. But thank you for the compliment, Armor Blade. I appreciate it. Good night, Maria. And you want to know how many? Oh, you're okay. Pro AM wrestler. That's how I learned to get strong. Yeah, ISO holds. They're fantastic. I try to pick a weight I can. It's very difficult to make it 60 seconds, and then I try to shoot for 75 seconds. Good night, Ipster. Yeah, I'm going to go too. I keep saying that, don't I? I say that all the time. That's why you guys say, hey, if Richard says we're going, he's leaving now. That means we got another 45 minutes. The glue remains fat. Oh, that's awesome. All right, guys. We'll be back Friday. God willing, if everything stays the same. Well, thank you, Armor. You can go back and see me in 2016, 17, whatever. I was not fit. I was fit to be tied, more likely. I was like ready for the suicide train. That's for sure. Good night to you, North Shore. Thank you very much, North Shore Rob. All right, guys. Friday, 7:30. We'll see what the topic is, and Newsom will still be in there. All right, guys. God bless. Stay well. Be nice to your enemy. Love your enemy. See you Friday. Take care.